Here we are on Clothesline, the show where we wring them clean, string them up and put them to dry on the clothesline. There's a lot to cover, but let's start with the good news. The good news is that 7 months ago, India rejected the World Health Organization's report on Delhi's air pollution levels. And we were right. Delhi's air isn't that bad. It's worse. Here's what Arnold Schwarzenegger had to say about it.
We have the horrible distinction of being amongst the most polluted cities in the world.
Well, it was interesting because when I arrived here, my eyes were burning.
He's not joking either. There's first-hand footage of him landing in India. Kidding. It isn't that bad, we hope. From air pollution to water pollution, parts of Uttar Pradesh don't have access to clean drinking water. But no need to worry. Uttarakhand Governor Aziz Qureshi has the solution.
अजीज कुरैशी ने ये कह दिया कि उन्नाव का पानी अगर इतना ही खराब है तो वहाँ के लोग पानी पीते ही क्यों हैं? उन्हें तो कोल्ड ड्रिंक्स पीने चाहिए।
पानी नहीं मिल रहा, कोल्ड ड्रिंक पीजिए।
When we hear that, the first person that comes to mind, of course, is Marie Antoinette.
Let them eat cake.
But Kirsten Dunst is hardly comparable to Qureshi. He's closer to this. How I wish we could send him away to a galaxy far, far away. But since we can't, we'll give him a fuckwa instead. Dude, what the fuck were you thinking? Then we had Rahul Gandhi protesting against slum demolitions, where he said this.
बुलडोजर मेरे शरीर के ऊपर से निकलेगा। अगर यह निकलेगा तो मेरे ऊपर से निकलेगा।
Rahul, two things. Firstly, when you want to use dramatic filmy dialogue, don't use words like मेरी शरीर से ऊपर निकलेगा. It sounds like a Hindi nibandh. That's an essay for class 10 board exams. Say मेरी छाती से ऊपर निकलेगा. That's more Gadar. But we understand you grew up not on Gadar, but on the other Gadar, the Western one.
For my dead body.
Which is why you do a literal translation. And secondly, where was this sharir of yours that's now offering to provide the Formula One track for government bulldozers when Sheila Auntie was cleaning up slums for the Commonwealth Games? In fact, it was her 15-year rule that saw some of the biggest slum demolitions. But the biggest, of course, happened during your Dadi's time. But I guess back then, your sharir wasn't big enough to accommodate a bulldozer, maybe a tobu cycle. So when you say stuff like that, it must embarrass the Congress. How do we know? Because this is what they made you do at the next protest.
Members weren't allowed to speak in the Lok Sabha, and Rahul Gandhi, Vice President of the Congress, leading the charge, saying that the government is stopping democratic process.
Sona Munda, bas muh band rakhiye. Also, as Times of India informed us, Mercedes-Benz just unveiled their new edition C-Class, which looks suspiciously like Nirmala Sitharaman. We'd even give you a line or two about the curved edges, the sleek look and the flawless texture. But that's more the Delhi Times space, where you can't tell whether they're talking about a car, a woman or a beer. But Times of India, in a photograph you should be able to. Then we had the Uber rape case that shook Delhi. This led to the banning of third-party taxi services in Delhi. Luckily for these cab services, they were in for one final payday, courtesy of news channels.
ये सिर्फ 5 मिनट में हमारे पास पहुंच गई। ये उबर की खासियत है कि जल्द से जल्द आपको टैक्सी मिलती है।
यहाँ चलती को गाड़ी कहते हैं प्यारे पम पम पम। यहाँ चलती को गाड़ी कहते हैं प्यारे पम पम पम। बाबू समझो इशारे हॉर्न पुकारे पम पम पम। यहाँ चलती को गाड़ी कहते हैं प्यारे पम पम पम।
Because no one would believe how taxis worked otherwise, right? So who was to blame for the crime? Some blamed the government, some blamed the police, some blamed the driver, of course he was to blame, and others blamed Uber. And then there was Rajdeep Sardesai.
Profit comes before safety. Does safety come first or does profit come first today? Is the profit motive driving the private taxi industry?
Of course not, Rajdeep. Taxi companies and airlines don't work for profit. They're NGOs, just like how you and I buy cars so that we can transport the homeless. That's what companies do, don't you know? It's the same reason you wrote a book on the election that changed India. and you keep launching and relaunching and relaunching it. It's obviously to raise money for the poor, right? You know, like how news was a public service, or is it still? I don't know. You tell me. After all, your last channel changed news forever. So news is not a public service, but taxis should be? Well, we believe news is a public service. The current model for funding news is the advertising funded model, and it's killing journalism. Advertisers make news more affordable, but at what cost?
Did you know that a magazine of international repute now appraises its journalists not just on their merit journalistically, but on their attractiveness to advertisers? Sign of the times.
And native advertising, where ads are passed off as news, is fairly common, while the real news is blacked out under corporate or sponsor pressure.
News can't be free of this if no one's willing to pay for it. The solution is simple.
When the public pays for news, news serves public interest.
So support News Laundry and help us make news a public service again.
With this latest rape, the National Commission for Women swung into action. If by swung into action you mean wake up 4 days later and ask the police for a report. Still, that's probably because the rape happened on Friday and the NCW loves their weekends.
How is the NCW going to help the child, help the family, or take up this matter?
कल मैं इसको take up कर रही हूँ, आज छुट्टी है.
Right, because we all know how rape victims don't want justice because the weekend is for partying. Still, that was the last NCW chief Mamta Sharma. Going by their reaction times, nothing's changed, which raises the question, why on earth do we still have a National Commission for Women? The NCW's own mandate makes it clear that while investigating a matter, the NCW has all the powers of a civil court. It can summon people, evidence, national records, receive evidence, and issue commissions to examine witnesses and documents. So it has all the powers of a civil court, minus the one power that makes all the other powers relevant, the power to actually issue judgments. That's like being Superman but not having a pulse. In fact, the last NCW chief Mamta Sharma put it best, in quotes, "We are vested with the power of simply summoning, unlike the National Commission for Protection of Child Rights. We have no actual powers." The NCW also commissions reports. But even then,
the NCW, it has buried the report on the Guwahati molestation case now. The molestation report now has been not made public or put online.
Okay, but still, they fight for the rights of women.
The statement that is coming from the NCW chairperson saying that women should dress more carefully because aping the West is leading to molestations, putting the onus again on the women.
Okay, but it's not like they actively endanger victims.
An NCW member, Alka Lamba, has been removed from the fact-finding team after she revealed the name of the molestation victim at a media briefing.
So there you have it. The NCW is like the Planning Commission, not really required, and no one would even notice if it went missing, other than the absence of the comic relief they provide us. Even so, it could be effective if it weren't a parking lot for political redundancies. Now, rape is a serious problem, and the government has a lot of work to do to make the country safer. But you know what doesn't help? This. That's TV9 Karnataka's resident astrologer, Sachidananda Babu Guruji, who doesn't just predict whether you'll have a good week, but when and how you'll be raped instead. Scary? Don't worry. He also provides solutions. Such a professional. Here's a sample of his stellar genius. If you're an Aries, you'll get raped in the bathroom. The solution? Write down the mantra that appears on the screen and make sure you have it when you're getting raped. If you forget to carry the mantra to the loo, all is not lost. Just apply turmeric and holy ash to your rapist. What? You don't have turmeric and holy ash in your toilet? Clearly, you're asking to be raped. That crazies like this exist is no surprise. That they're allowed to pass this off on news channels is shocking. Remember when NDTV celebrated their 25th anniversary in style? Well, Aapki Adalat's 21st anniversary just blew NDTV out of the water. You got the president and the prime minister for your 25th. We did too.
रजत जी की एक विशेषता अगर मैं वर्णन करूं तो ये है कि उनके पूरे इंटरव्यू में टंग का स्थान मिनिमम होता है, जो टेक्निकल रिक्वायरमेंट है। अधिकतर दिल होता है और पीछे शार्प और कभी-कभी शातिर दिमाग होता है।
देखो NDTV, you couldn't even get an interview with Modi. He does speeches for us. You got all of Bollywood Khans for your anniversary, NDTV. But did you get all the Khans to do this? Still, that wasn't Aapki Adalit's biggest triumph. Their biggest triumph was this. India TV managed to get Arnab Goswami on their channel, and he didn't get to say one word. If India TV silenced Arnab on their channel, Aam Aadmi Party's Ashish Khaitan was out to silence Arnab on Arnab's own channel.
Don't ridicule me for making that choice.
You don't
ridicule me. Don't mock me for making that choice.
I'm just putting you in your place.
I'm telling you. I'm making great personal sacrifice.
So I'm putting
don't
your
mock
choice.
me for
It's
making
your
that
choice.
sacrifice.
You to become a politician is your choice.
No, that's my choice, but don't mock me.
There was no stopping Ashish, and since Ashish has been both politician and a journalist, he managed to piss off both journalists and politicians.
We are honest journalists here. That's what you're making it into. And you know, we practice our profession with sincerity. We follow stories.
Have some respect for the other panelists.
Because we believe we want the honest, good government for this country. And that's what we do as good journalists. So I'm sorry, don't give us lectures.
What kind of rubbish is this? You to say that I'm a dishonest politician? You are a dishonest party. Everything you do is dishonest. This is not correct. Of course I'm an honest politician. You name them one thing where I made money. This is not correct.
A party of Robert.
I don't like this.
A party of Robert Badal.
If you have made sacrifice, I've made enough and more sacrifices.
Congress party is the most dishonest party.
You are a dishonest person to say that.
Okay.
We do our politics seriously.
The fact is,
name one case.
One second, gentlemen. No, one second. I request both sides to come down, including
This is not done.
Exactly, Ashish. Stop. Interrupting others and yelling on the news hour is Arnab's job.
And Hartosh, you must have thought, do I even exist in this debate? Well, I'm really sorry, but you can't blame me for this one.
For once, Arnab's right. But Ashish did win this round.
Where was the Aam Aadmi Party when the CWG scam was broken? Where was the Aam Aadmi Party when the 2G scam was broken? Where was the Aam Aadmi Party when the Devas ISRO scam was broken? Where was the Aam Aadmi Party when the, allow me to come, when the Aircel Maxis scam was broken? Where was the Aam Aadmi Party when the Adarsh scam was broken?
I broke the Aircel Maxis story.
And
I broke the Aircel Maxis story.
No. Of all the things Ashish Khaitan said, our favorite was this.
Aam Aadmi Party, as I said, is a state of mind.
Now, where have we heard something like that before?
Speaking at a function in Allahabad on Monday, Rahul Gandhi stirred the hornet's nest by dismissing poverty as just a state of mind.
Borrowing ideas from Rahul Gandhi is a dangerous thing, Ashish. Meanwhile, the CNN, IBN TV 18 family continued to scale new heights in journalism. Remember their slogan, whatever it takes?
If I were to ask you to articulate for us, what is the one big change that you've seen this government?
To my mind, confidence is the most important element.
CNBC TV 18 ran this hour-long exclusive interview of Mukesh Ambani, where he talked about Reliance's plans in different sectors, which is fine. It's a business channel, except that it's Mukesh Ambani on a Mukesh Ambani-owned channel talking about the growth of sectors that Mukesh Ambani's companies were in, all without a single disclaimer of full disclosure or even a tough question. You have the richest and the most controversial industrialist sitting in front of you, and you ask nothing uncomfortable. But then, these days in the world of news, everyone's trying to just survive, whatever it takes, even the last shreds of your dignity, or integrity in fact. There was also the matter of the Nobel Peace Prize ceremony on the 10th of December, an award being shared by an Indian and a Pakistani, which was a great feel-good peacenik moment. But it wasn't feel-good enough for NDTV, who turned the love thy neighbor sentiment up a few notches. You had an Indo-Pak team interviewing an Indo-Pak team, framed beautifully. They even called it a Nobel moment or noble moment. Wait, is your director Karan Johar? While the rest of India was congratulating Kailash Satyarthi for his Nobel, BJP MLAs in his home state were full of praise for Kailash, which is not the right one.
In the Madhya Pradesh Assembly on Wednesday, BJP MLAs mistakenly congratulated State Minister Kailash Vijayvargiya instead.
कैलाश जी भैया को नोबेल पुरस्कार मिलने जा रहा है तो हमारे प्रदेश के लिए और हमारी भारतीय जनता पार्टी के लिए बहुत गौरव की बात है। बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है हमारे नेता को मिला।
हमारे साथी
बहुत बड़ी बात है जी, हमारे लिए गर्व की बात है।
If you thought that was bad, listen to what the opposition parties had to say.
उनकी सत्ता है, सरकार है, झूठे सच्चे कैसे भी पुरस्कार ले सकते हैं वो। ऐसे कोई भाजपा सरकार ने अच्छे काम तो किए नहीं कि जिनके पुरस्कार मिलना चाहिए।
कैलाश जी का जहाँ सवाल है तो मुझे लगता है कि ऐसा कोई कर्तव्य तो नहीं रहा जो नोबेल दिया जाए।
We don't know about a Nobel, but if there's a prize for stupidity, we just found a few candidates. We also had the 6th anniversary of 26/11 last month. 26/11/2008, a day none of us will soon forget. And Times of India, being a responsible newspaper, didn't forget the date. They just got the year wrong. I hate to break it to you, Times of India, but it's been just 6 years. Let truth prevail, huh? If Times of India got the date wrong, NDTV seems to be struggling with their geography.
After Hisar, will it be Flashpoint Jalandhar? A fortnight after controversial preacher Rampal's commandos fought off the police trying to arrest him.
That's right. Will it be a Flashpoint Jalandhar? Because Ashutosh Maharaj's ashram is in Jalandhar, and as the ticker informs us, Jalandhar is now in Haryana. So I guess the answer to the ticker is no. No, there won't be a Flashpoint in Haryana because Jalandhar is in Punjab. We also had our caption contest, and this week's winner is Maza Aju. Congratulations, Maza, and keep the submissions coming. Remember to participate in our caption contest to get your name on the next episode of Clothesline and show us how funny you can be. Well, that's a wrap for the week. If you saw any moments from journalism that made you go, oh wow, or oh crap, write into us or tweet to us. Subscribe to our newsletter and support our I Pay to Keep News free campaign. We are the change. You are the change, for better or worse. Never do nothing. Stay connected. Stay online. If you enjoyed that, click up here to support us and down here to subscribe. Be sure to check out our older episodes and the other stuff we do, like Can You Take It, I Agree, panel discussions, comics and animations, and much, much more.